All right, Virgo. So I was getting like a pressure in your heart space, and the correlation that I got for it was like a water main break. So like when a water main bursts, like obviously that like the pipe that carries the water, when it bursts, it really fucks up where the water goes, right? It just goes everywhere, and it doesn't go to its like necessary place, right? Because it's not going into homes, it's not going into businesses, it's just flooding the street, right? So there may be something that really gets unearthed this month that kind of floods your immediate space. And with that being said, it's like, it's not that it's not, you like basically you may have an emotional outburst. I don't think at somebody, I think it's just going to be in your own space, but it's like you want to be able to channel the intensity of your emotions into all the outlets that need it, or that's it's like almost like tributaries, right? Tributaries get serviced off of a main water source, and it's like that's how you want it to be. But I think it's a little bit overwhelming for you this month. Leo got this combination as well in Spirit's advice for them, but they had them flip-flopped, but either way. First we have the Star with the Ace of Cups. So I do feel that Spirit is really pushing you to, one, dig deep to forgive yourself for the people that you have loved and they just didn't have the capacity to love you back in the way that you deserved to be loved back. And that's a really difficult one, because we can find and settle into resentment in the intermediate space, right? Because it's like they're loving you at the only level they know how, but it feels like a total slap in the face to all the efforts and extension of yourself that you've done in the meantime. And with the Star here, right, the Star actually is pouring out water onto the land. Oh my God. So I feel like whatever emotional outburst or outpouring you have, you may just like burst into tears one day. And you're like not even sure if you're upset or if you're happy or if you're mad or whatever, right? And it's because, one, I feel like the water, the emotions have to get out to fertilize the seeds that you have around you and to make space. I feel like this is a fountain. You know what I mean? And it's like we have to kind of make space in our body, in our heart for other things. So I feel like this is purging an old level of an emotional residue. And what it's making room for with the Star here is something that is like beyond your wildest dreams. It's something that you have been praying for. It's something that you have been asking for and pushing for a long time. With the Chariot and the King of Pentacles here, some of you may be dealing with a Cancer or someone who is Cancer and Capricorn, or wherever the Cancer Capricorn polarity falls in your chart, maybe where you're at needing to purge or why you're needing to purge. But one thing I have to say about this energy is it's very stubborn. Okay? It's not like it's not for good reason, but it's a very strong, heels in the ground type of energy, right? The King of Pentacles knows what he wants, and he's going to go after it the way that he wants to do it. And he's going to be methodical, and he's going to be kind of slow, because he's like, I have all of this stuff with me. Because that's another thing. This energy doesn't move very quickly, because the Chariot has emotional baggage that they're busy taking recognition of and taking stock of. And the King of Pentacles says, I have a whole world to tend to. I have a whole kingdom to tend to that is my responsibility, and I'm not going to prioritize other people or other things over that, right? And in order to really achieve success and achieve the emotional movement that you desire, it's going to be important that I feel you keep your eye on the prize, and that you also keep your work life and your physical assets and your monetary goals at priority number one. Because with the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Cups here, that really may frustrate you. Yeah. And the reason for that is because you easily get distracted by things that you love and people that you love. And it's not because they are a drain, literally. I feel like it's just because you tend to pour yourself into other people and other people's problems more than your own. So Spirit is saying, like, you need to just, like, the work that needs to be done in order to create movement and in free stagnation is by focusing on your own immediate ground. Because if you keep trying to find your own emotional contentment in other people or in the scenarios around you, you're going to continue to feel restricted. Because notice how the Nine of Cups is a lower octave of the star. And because things are moving really slow, you may feel like you're being boxed out of something that you really know you deserve and you want desperately. Okay? But it's because Spirit is trying to offer you something different and something more. That is literally what you've been wanting, right? Because the 10 of Cups trumps the 9 of Cups. So I feel like it's important to, when in doubt, create space. When in doubt, open your heart more. And there may be tears to be shed in the meantime, right? But there's a lot for you to assess as well with the 7 of Wands here. And there's a lot for you to consider. So I feel like it's important to consider all options and avenues. And that doesn't mean by physically going and putting yourself in them, but just putting them in your sphere. All right, Virgo. So just as a quick reminder, I am in the process of moving. So my personal reading schedule is a little bit more closed off than normal. However, I am going to be running a special. And it's only going to be released to my email subscribers and my Twitter and Instagram followers. So go to the description box to get included in that. And of course, there's a couple different ways you can get access to the mid-month and love readings, and all that info is in the description box as well. Now, Virgo, there's a very interesting story over here, and not all of it is for everybody, but all these cards wanted to come out, and I said, you know what? Fuck it. Why not? Also, because it is Scorpio season, I wanted to pull cards from Oracle of the Mermaids deck. And we got Contromancy, Seashell, Divination, Wisdom of Shells. And on the bottom of the deck was Freedom, Independence, and Self-Determination. I'll tell you guys too, you guys know I'm Virgo Sun, Virgo Rising. This came up in my private, like, personal readings I've done with myself. And also Taurus got Contromancy. Okay? Now, because we are also paired with the overall energy of the High Priestess, I feel that this Scorpio season is going to initiate Virgo into a new level of divine communication. And I also feel there's something here about not feeling the need for answers, or not feeling the need to live by what a psychic says, or live by what a divination term said, right? Because Contromancy talks about divining shells, right? And listening to a water wisdom. And we are in a water season, but freedom, independent self-determination is this idea that you can act autonomously, right? In all things. And really echoes the message of free will. So regardless of what comes up in a reading, what comes up in your field, what you see in your own cards, what you see in signs and synchronicities, you have the power to shift that at any time. And you also may start working this month with a different guide, right? A different kind of energy might come into your field that you have to work with. Also, you may be getting, like, sometimes, like, let's say you go to a very well-renowned psychic that you've been to before, or that you know people that go to them, and they're like, oh, this, and this. Like, you know, this person's not going to work out for you. Go find this avenue, da-da-da-da-da. And it's not that what they're saying to you isn't valid. It's just like, if you don't like what they're saying, or you're not into it, you also have the freedom, right? The free will to kind of buck that timeline. And you can choose to tap into a different frequency. So you may also learn that you are restricted in what Spirit will tell you if it will limit your ability to be free. Because if we get some level of information that we're like super like keen on manifesting. Like they tell you, okay, you're gonna be with this person, or oh yeah, you're gonna get this job. And then it's like, even though you got that answer, you're still like super fixated on, you know, having that or learning more information on that. And it's like when you get in the energy of needing answers, sometimes spirit strips us from our connection temporarily, or strips us from getting clear answers or clear insight, you know, clear sentience or whatever, because they want you to move more independently. And that message is mirrored in your advice with the Nine of Pentacles here. And sometimes some of us just have this energy where we are willing to bind ourselves to a scenario or to an outcome or to a person or whatever more than other people. And that doesn't make you, you know, unaware, and that doesn't make you, you know, a good person or a bad person. It's just a personality trait. So I feel like this is about finding a lot of peace in not knowing, being proud of your independence, okay? Because just because you walk the path of the nomad doesn't mean you're happy about it, and doesn't mean that you enjoy it, right? So this is about finding peace in that and loving it. Because with the High Priestess here, there's a lot of knowledge coming to you, right? And I feel like you're tapping into a otherworldly version of you. And you also may be picking up on information that is 2, 3, 5 years from manifesting. And that can make you feel like your hands are strapped. Now, another thing with predictions and things like that is sometimes if we knew everything, if we knew like, oh, you're definitely going to get this job, or you're definitely going to be successful in this, or you're definitely going to marry this person, or whatever the case may be, we wouldn't do any work in the in time, in the medium time, in the space between, to actually solidify that timeline. Okay? So if you are picking up on something and it's not happening, there's a good chance this month that it's because you're allowing it to bind you rather than free you. Spirit tries to give us information to make us feel more free to go about our lives. But a lot of times it can work in the reverse, where we then wait, and then we sit and wait for it to happen and transpire. And I feel like that is the energy that you're working through this month. And this is an unshackling to live by your own drum a lot more, okay? What you're being asked to release, we have the Four of Wands with the Knight of Swords. And on the Knight of Swords, we have victory. So I feel that for some of you, this is about not expecting overnight results, okay? Especially when it comes to relationships and friendships and like people that feel like family, right? Because the Knight of Swords is fleeting, and it's things that happen on a dime. And that's not to say that connecting with the people that are really meant for you isn't supposed to be easy, because in general, it is supposed to be easy on the level of like, it shouldn't feel like being with somebody or being friends with someone is hard work. But feeling at peace with yourself can be hard work. Feeling at peace with the situations around you can be hard work, because it's foreign, right? So the Four of Wands is, you know, a celebration and things that we're excited about, but it's also about coming together with people. And it's like you may be expecting people that you just met or someone that you care about or whatever overnight to just like, boom, we're engaged, or boom, we're in a committed relationship, or it's just of expecting immediacy. Or if you are moving into a new home, or coming into a new spiritual community, it's like you want everything to happen overnight. And it's like you're waiting. Like I feel like some of you are waiting for this message, this Knight of Swords message of like that you did it, like you solidified it. And some of you are waiting for to find out that, again, like you want a message. I almost feel like this Knight of Swords isn't necessarily you waiting on a message from a person, but you waiting on a message from spirit from divination. And it's like, well, the divination says that I'm going to achieve this level of comfort if I'm going to have people that make me feel safe and comforted, and they're my soul tribe, and that they support me. Where are they? You know what I mean? Because then I feel like there's like this demand for physical proof and for validation. And needing validation lacks faith. And I know it's tough. Look, we have the Five of Swords in our headspace. I know it's tough. I don't necessarily feel like this is you arguing with somebody. I feel like this is you versus you. Okay? But if you're waiting for someone to confirm what you feel, what you know in your heart of hearts, I feel like you will be disappointed this month. And you're realizing it's not going to come. And it's not showing up because it's not true. It's not showing up because you shouldn't need verbal validation to solidify what you sense and pick up from the divine. Okay. Now, I'm going to separate these off. The door that's now open, that was once closed. We have the Two of Swords that came out with the Four of Pentacles. Okay, on that we have the rune Self. So I'm going to break this down first. This is about you being your own gatekeeper. Okay? The Two of Swords is indecision, right? Wanting to, one, be blind to what we know in our heart, and two, ignore what's in front of us. Sometimes I feel like the Two of Swords can be this astral projection type of energy where it's like we just want to escape our immediate reality because there's something here that we just don't like, right? And with the Four of Pentacles here, it's like I don't like where I am, but I also am afraid to change, or I'm afraid to create space to change. And a lot of this is about stability and making decisions that are going to bring you more stability. But I feel like this is about making room. And I might title the video this because I was hearing John Legend's Save Room, his song Save Room. Oh, I also, looking at this card, I forgot, I was getting TLC's Unpretty. Okay, for those of you that know that song. Anyways, so when it comes to you versus you, I feel like it's important to remember that you are your biggest block, you are your biggest enemy, and you are your biggest ally, right? Even when people are projecting on us, even when it seems like situations are, and people, right, are the limitations that we hit. We are our own limitation. Because a shift in perspective, technically, can allow us to be in any scenario or any room or in any relationship and still enjoy it for what it is, right? So I feel there's a need to be okay with where you are on a level that you have not in a while. This is about self-acceptance and accepting that change can only happen in the now as well. And we can only change ourselves. And in changing ourselves, we change our reality. So when you're feeling really pressed and you're wanting something that you can touch, feel, taste right now, you need to ask yourself, if you had everything that you're craving right now, would it make your decision any easier? Or would it enhance your blindness to the immediate reality? Now, underlined by this, these all came out together. We have the Hanged Man plus the Six of Cups and the Ten of Cups. And like, I don't love the Six of Cups by itself because, you know, nostalgia, blah, blah, blah. However, with the Ten of Cups, this is a pretty sweet combo, okay? So there's something here about the best things are worth waiting for. But at the same time, I don't really like saying that because what Spirit is saying is don't linger. And don't sit in the space of yearning. And don't sit in the space of waiting. I feel like the best way you're going to learn to create space and be in the energy of freedom is by acknowledging what you feel, acknowledging what you know is coming, and continue to live your life. Okay? Because with the Hanged Man here, this is things that are not coming into fruition yet. Okay? So this soulmate, this person or place or sensation that feels like I kind of want to cry. This energy really feels like someone that feels like home, for real. Like this is a person that when you see them, that when you sense them, they feel like God. You know what I mean? They feel like source. They feel like your home frequency. And you may not have a face to this person, and it doesn't matter if you do, right? This is a frequency in a energetic space more than anything. And Spirit is saying to look at this differently, because you may have a face for this person and you may struggle because they're not showing up the way that you wanted them to, or they're not here yet, or you're not in a committed relationship, or whatever the case may be. And I'm not talking about some crazy business where like the person is married and they don't talk to you. You know, I'm not talking about all that. But if you feel like Spirit keeps making you wait for your ideal lover and that family that you crave and that closeness that you crave and that person that literally just feels like, I don't want to say your other half, but it feels like your other whole, okay? It's because you're still to an extent blind to your own hangups and your own propensity to be extremely, how do I want to say it? Extremely fixated on physical results as validation. And something with this kind of frequency, 6 of Cups, 10 of Cups, has to be trusted wholeheartedly before it can manifest on a physical level. Okay? Your current energy as it relates to all this. Oh, you know what? Really quick. Because this came up for me personally because I've been doing my own High Priestess nonsense. The Hanged Man is Pisces energy. And I got some insight that I'm going to share with you, Virgos, maybe a week and a half ago. There's something very, very, very special about Pisces season. That's when we have our full moon. However, for some reason, I got the date March 5th. Okay? Especially as it relates to this kind of energy, 6 of Cups, 10 of Cups, and like my heart feels like it's going to explode right now. So when it comes to that kind of energy, if there's something that you feel like it's going to happen, but you don't know when, and you don't know why things look the way that they look right now, if this is the outcome, right? When I looked up astrologically what happens March 5th, it is the Pisces new moon. So if you need some type of answer on why being free and letting go of what you've divined is important and allowing it the space to manifest, know that it's going to take probably until the new moon in Pisces for this new energy to be able to be fully ushered in. And I believe that our full moon happens before the new moon. Okay? So, not that we should need answers, but we are human. So, you guys know I don't usually do timelines, and we also have the ability to smother a timeline. But that's the timeline I was given. Okay? In your head, 5 of Swords with the rune Luck. In your heart, the Ace of Pentacles. And in your foundation, the 10 of Swords. So, there's a deep need to surrender to that which we don't understand, to that which is outside of our control, to the things that drive us fucking insane, you know? We drive ourselves nuts. And you can't be free until you say, fuck it, really, I'm gonna be honest. And that doesn't mean not caring. It just means like not needing. because only we can tend to our own needs. People can come in and they can assist, but they can't do it for us. So I feel like this 10 of Swords is you allowing yourself to mentally hit the wall and realize that it takes so much energy to outrun our thoughts, and it takes so much energy to outrun what is negative or what is defeating in our lives. And with the 5 of Swords in your headspace and the rune luck, there can be a rhetoric this month where you're like, oh, I'm just so unlucky. No matter what I do, I'm unhappy, or no matter what I do, things don't turn out in my favor, or whatever, right? But ultimately, it's all pushing you to give it up and give it over to Spirit, right? Because what Spirit is ushering in for you is the Ace of Swords. And this is really just a pushing for a shift in perspective. And you may not be getting along with people or being able to clearly communicate with people, 5 of Swords, on what is in your favor. And it may seem like you try to reason with people, you try to rationalize with people, and they're just not seeing your perspective. But it's because they're not meant to. But with the Ace of Pentacles in your heart space, I feel like the heart knows. And I feel like that's why you're struggling so much mentally, is because in your heart, you know it should be different. And your mind is trying to wrap itself around what you're sensing is being birthed. And it's struggling because it's not really meant to understand each other. One person, one part of your body is speaking Chinese, the other one is speaking, Haitian, you know what I mean, Creole. And it's just like, they're not hearing each other. And that's okay. Because frequency is understood no matter what. So you may have to withdraw. Yeah. You may have to withdraw from explaining to people what you need in relationships, or how you expect them to show up, or what you would need to have your needs met. Not because they'll never be able to do it, right? But because it's really just like, I feel like you're going to have to kind of just withdraw and be solitary for a while. Because the 6 of Pentacles for me with the 5 of Swords is saying that you may say one thing, but like feel like you need another by the end of the month. So just kind of, if you want to spaz out on somebody about how they're not showing up, just sit with yourself first and ask yourself if you really need them to show up like that, or you're just afraid to show up for yourself more. Because then I got the Page of Pentacles and the 8 of Wands. So it's like, if you're willing to just see the lesson in all things and take every opportunity as a learning opportunity, then things will accelerate a lot faster. Okay? So don't ask people to learn with you. Just do it on your own. And I know that's annoying, but, sometimes it's like that. Spirit's advice, we have the Ace of Swords with the 9 of Pentacles. On the 9 of Pentacles, we have the rune Journey. So you're still being pushed to really feel secure in your own autonomy, okay? And seeing the value that you have without someone reflecting it back to you. I feel like that's a big part of it, is that you don't feel like you're worth your weight in gold unless someone is telling you that you are. And that is something that, people struggle with, myself included. And this is about feeling good about who you are and where you're at without a mirror projecting it back to you. And the Ace of Swords, I love how that's sliding right out of the Ace of Pentacles. So it's saying like, your heart is seeding this new life for you, right? That High Priestess that you've been picking up on for quite some time. And the way you're going to gain clarity from this tumultuous headspace of the 5 of Swords is by dipping into self-care in a way that you haven't in a while. Okay, so because this is also enjoying your singleness. And I talk about this a lot with clients. Just because we've been single for like a decade or however long, doesn't mean we've ever enjoyed it or found the value in it. Because you may be like, oh, I know this person is coming, I know this person is coming. But if your husband really is 6 months out, like for real, like your forever person, right? Your infinite partner, and you'll never Be alone again. Have you really done everything that you wanted to do as a single person? You may say yes real quick, but I think then if you sit back with it, you're going to be like, oh, no, I haven't. You know, this means like never answering to anybody ever again. Never getting to, you know, do all those weird habits that you have that if someone else watched us, we probably wouldn't have them. Like that kind of stuff. Just not to say that once you get like married or, you know, partner off that you're never alone again. It's just different, right? So I feel like there's a lot to enjoy, okay, in your own company. And you're not quite over that hump yet. So don't rush it because, right, divine timing is always at play. The most likely outcome moving into December, we have the Death card. And we have the Hierophant. On the Hierophant, we have the rune Wisdom. So I feel like mirroring with this Ten of Swords here. And you know what? The Hierophant and the Death card are Taurus and Scorpio's polarity. Okay? So if you have other planets in Scorpio and Taurus, or if you only have planets in Taurus, but obviously during November, Scorpio planets are opposing them, I feel like there's something that is going to click. There's some puzzle piece that's going to fall into place. And if you hadn't fully given up this surrender here, you're going to hit it by December. And there's a realization here that you're just not like other people. And that there's still something that you've been holding on to in terms of, again, things showing up a certain way. This can be like, well, I've never had, you know, a real partner or someone that called me their boyfriend or called me their girlfriend. And like, that's a Hierophant type of label. And this is like saying that like, if you surrender over society's standards of like how you're supposed to be or what your life is supposed to be like, it will create a lot more space for this energy to flow in the way that it's designed to, that best suits you. And actually the High Priestess is the partner to the Hierophant, for me anyways. And when it comes to divine order, the most wise know that we have to yield to it. And I feel like there's also going to be a transition this month, again, in your spiritual beliefs. And something is going to shift. I don't think it's going to be negative in any way. It's just that there's something that you have allowed in some capacity to control you, right? Not on purpose really, but it's just that, you know, it was kind of part of your belief system. And you know, it can be a really ancient part. It can be something that is just like, you don't even know why you believed that. But it's going to be shifted for the betterment of your soul's evolution. Spirit, further clarify the Death card and the Hierophant as the most likely outcome for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising moving into the month of December. Five of Swords and the Eight of Cups. Yeah. I feel like you're just not going to be able to fight this truth anymore. And the Eight of Cups is emotionally growing up for me. This is going to be a little bit bittersweet. Especially, you know, I feel like you're also going to have a different outlook on what commitment means to you and what it means to be in service to a higher power. Yeah, and that's what's going to give way, Three of Crystals, to building something from scratch. Okay, because you may have been trying to build a new relationship on the foundations of your old ones, or the foundation of an old belief system, and Spirit won't let it manifest until it's time, and you've been like put through the fire. Because then we have Six of Cups, King of Swords, Wheel of Fortune, the Four of Swords, with the Queen of Wands. So I feel like you're going to remain single and pushed into really loving your autonomy and loving your free, loving spirit until you have relinquished these old beliefs around how a person is supposed to show up and what they're supposed to say and what they're supposed to do, like exactly how they're supposed to be. And once you allow that movement, you'll gain a new perspective. Okay? Interested to see how this is going to come out for us at the mid-month, and who knows what that love reading is going to be like. But if you need any of that, it's in the description box. Love y'all. Peace.